Hey folks, it's Finn. Well, I did not know how to start this video. I'm going to say a lot in this video. So I have made a video for three weeks, and I've been trying to make one for 3 weeks. And to be honest, the only reason I'm making one today is because Mum's flowers are dying. And I really wanted to make this video with all of this in the background before Mum's flowers die, but it's too late because they've died. As you've seen from social media, Mum passed away on Saturday the 2nd of February, which is 3 weeks yesterday, and I'm a bit of a wreck. I've made loads of little mini videos on my phone to upload for Friday Finstalments, and I just haven't uploaded them, obviously, otherwise you'd have seen them. I don't know what to say, but I need to say something. I've managed to write a few bits here and there, and you know, writing is really helpful. But it's one thing writing it, and it's another thing sitting here and trying to tell you it. But I want to, because this is what I do. And this does help. And I want to talk about it. And I want to say hello, because you've all been so incredibly supportive. And I really appreciate that a lot. I've not been very good at replying to people who have sent me messages or cards, and I'm really sorry. But every single one of them means so much. I mean, look, we have got so many. And it really means the world. And at some point, I will sit down and write a thank you to everyone, because it does mean the world. So, Mum, I got a call on the Saturday afternoon. To be honest, you know, it's been quite a while since I've had a call about Mum. She's been obviously very unwell with dementia, but settled, because I've been really looking after her at Avalon, and she's been doing all right. But I got a call to say that her chest was bad. She'd had a kind of cough on and off, and this is common with Mum. And did I want them to call the ambulance? Because it's always hard with Mum whether to call the ambulance or not, because often she ends up in hospital, and then she ends up, you know, where she just makes a miraculous recovery and she's okay, and then going to hospital just makes everything worse for her in terms of her dementia. So if we can keep her out of hospital, we do. But it was clear that she really did need some kind of help, because she was really struggling to breathe. So after they called me, they called an ambulance, and I timed it so that I got in a taxi at the same time as the ambulance was taking her, so that we arrived roughly at the same time. And when I arrived, the doctor took me to one side and said that, in their opinion, they thought she was dying. Which isn't anything unusual really for Mum, because that's why we call her the Duracell bunny, because the amount of times we've been told this is it. And then the next minute we'll walk in and she'll be like, hello, Poppet, absolutely fine, you know. So it's kind of like this strange thing. Every time someone tells me that Mum's dying, it's like this initial wave of grief and like pain, and then it just goes, because it's like, oh yeah, but Mum will be fine, you know. And he said that basically she gets these lung infections, pleurisy, pneumonia, COPD, something like that. She's had it quite a lot, but she's been free of those for quite a few months now. But they usually give her this machine, I can't remember what it's called, but it kind of helps the lungs to clear. But it's quite an aggressive form of treatment, and she's tiny. Mum had lost so much weight, and the doctor said he thought it would give her too much pain to have this machine. And Mum's got a DNR, a do not resuscitate, because my goodness, you know, she's been in this situation so often, and she always said that if she got to the point where she didn't know where she was, she didn't want to be here, and that's why the DNR was set up. I mean, this is where the NHS is kind of like wonderful, but at the same time it keeps people alive that probably would have gone a lot earlier, you know. And I think Mum's only young, only 76, and I think that's why people just battle to try and keep her alive, but really she just had so much wrong for so many years. So, yeah, he said that they didn't want to give her that machine because it would cause her too much discomfort, and they'd rather just leave. And if she was dying, that, you know, they would just make her comfortable. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Because even with the dementia, I know, as she said to me before, you know, I don't want to be here if I've got dementia. I really don't. You know, the minute I can't take myself to the toilet, and the minute I don't know who you are or who I am, I don't want to be here, you know, so I really respected that decision. But at the same time, there was this feeling of like, well, it's Mum, so you say she's dying, but she's going to be fine in 5 minutes. So I sat with her, and she was just gone, really, just spark out, and she did wake up briefly and had a moan at the doctors when they tried to move her. And I asked her if she wanted anything, and she said, no, I'm all right, pop it. And then I sort of sat with her, and Chris turned up, and I'd also rung Mark and explained what was going on, and we had this whole dilemma. Does Mark come down or doesn't he? Because this is what happens. We rush to Mum, and then we get there and she's just fine. But he decided that he would come down. Chris arrives, and then Mum's stats start to get better and better and better. You know, she'd gone from like 60% oxygen right back up to like 98, and everything was climbing, and it was looking like a typical mum, you know. And I was sat there with Chris and thinking, oh God, what are we going to do about Mark? Mark's dashing down here, and she's going to be all right. And even the nurses came in and went, oh my goodness, she's the comeback queen, isn't she? So yeah, it was this thinking about, oh yeah, this is going to be what it normally is. Mum just comes round. And then Mark and Kirsty arrived about, I think it was about 8 in the evening, I think, by this time. She went in at 3. They arrived, and Mum really didn't wake up. We all just sat with her and talking to each other and to her, and all feeling quite confused about what was going on, because they talked about moving Mum to a ward now because her stats were getting better. They moved her to a comfortable bed because, you know, we wanted her to be comfortable. So she was still in whatever they called it, resus thingy, but obviously not being resuscitated. And then as we were sat chatting, we just watched and could start to see that the stats were just climbing down. And I just knew then that was it. We know we weren't gonna be seeing her come back this time. So we just sat together, and all 4 of us sat round her and held her hands and talked to her and just watched all the different numbers just gradually count down to 0, and it was really peaceful. I was worried that Mum's going would be, you know, quite aggressive. I thought she'd fight it till the end and it'd be really uncomfortable death for her, and it wasn't. It was just really beautiful. Just watched her go to sleep, basically. Just went to sleep. And that was about 10:30, I think, at night. And that was it. Mark and Kirsty stayed here for a while. I don't know how long time it is at the moment. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks. I'm losing the plot in terms of days and hours and weeks and whatever. But luckily Mum had like tied up most loose ends for us, so there wasn't a huge amount to do. I'm, whatever you call it, of the executor of all her stuff. She hasn't got much, bless her, so it was fairly straightforward to do all of that. And we already knew her wishes for the service, and that was really beautiful. We were worried that we haven't got much family, especially not over in this country, so we didn't know who would come. This video is going to be a mess, I'm so sorry. But yeah, loads of people came. It was just really lovely to see how much people loved her. Because we went to Avalon, a nursing home, to clear out everything. To see how upset they were was lovely, in a weird way. Just knowing how much Mum meant to people. She was a pain in the arse at times. And she's not been the easiest of mums, but my God, she was a character. And I know that she loved me and Mark so much. So yeah, to see lots of people there and have them all. I didn't know what I was doing myself on that day, I really didn't. People kept coming up to me and I kept asking them if they were okay. It was really weird. I didn't know what I was doing. And we just had like a little informal get together afterwards at a local pub around the corner from the cemetery. It's just weird. It just hurts, and it's hurting more and more every day, which is like the really unnerving thing. I suppose that's just because the funeral's done and everything's done and there's just space, and Mark's gone home. I didn't want him to go home. I just got to get on with it now, and the sun keeps shining and the world keeps revolving. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm struggling, I really am struggling. That wasn't me, that was a car. I'm writing a fair bit at the moment, and I think some of what I'm writing is probably a bit frightening to people, but I've got to be honest about how I am, you know, who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. Because, you know, I do things, I share in two ways. I share in positive ways and in honest ways, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, I'm going to share it how it is. And I'm going to try and be a little bit positive about it on the way if I can. The positive thing is I'm in recovery and I'm not drinking, but I tell you what, at the moment that's pissing me right off. Because I would give anything right now just to say, sod it, neck a bottle of vodka, and just have a bit of a head holiday. But because I'm in bloody recovery, I know all too well that it's not going to help. A big part of me right now wants that kind of unconscious oblivion of being in like self-destruct mode where you just don't care about the future, because at the moment it's not like I really care about the future, but I have this really sensible recovery head that I've developed over the last 8 years that keeps telling me it'll pass and that the way forward is not to get drunk or to self-harm. So I'm like these two people at the moment. It's really annoying. Of course I'm not going to get drunk. Of course I know it's going to pass. But it does not stop it hurting like fuck right now. Does it? Oh, sorry, I'm sniffing everywhere. I keep fiddling with this. Oh dear. This might be one of the weirdest uploads I ever do. But I've made it. I've made the video. How long have I got on for? Too long, probably. But now I've broken the ice. I've made a video. Now I've just got to get it up. But yeah, thanks so much everybody for all your messages. When I don't reply, it's not that I don't care or I'm not touched. I just find it really, really hard. At the moment I can do one-way stuff like make a video or write. But when it comes to the two-way conversation with people, I can't do it right now. I can't, but please know that it means so much. Every time you message, it means so much. So even if you message and you see that I've seen it and there's no response, that isn't because I'm not grateful, I really am. I'm just finding it so hard to actually talk in any way right now. So yeah, that's my upload this week. So I don't know what I'm doing. Let's be professional, Finn, for a minute. In terms of all of this stuff, in terms of my writing and videos and stuff like that, I think right now I'm just going to say sorry, and I know you don't ask for sorries, but you're getting one anyway, and I'm just going to give myself permission to do whatever. You know, if I can upload a video, I will. If I can write something, I will. But as to types of uploads and when they're happening, that's out the window right now, and I'm giving myself permission to do that. So I am recording loads. Every time I'm thinking something, I'm recording it. And at some point I'll get that back up, whether it's in a video like this or in a Friday Finstalment, I don't know, but I'm not going anywhere. I just might be a bit unfin for the moment. But yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. And thanks for everything. Thank God I've got you lot, right? I am blessed the most that are in this position, that's for sure. See you soon.